Hi, I'm diving a bit deeper on Kendrick Lamar's and Baby Keem's new track, The Hillbillies. The sample breakdown is already available in my channel. I became so obsessed with this track that I even posted my video 2 days before TrackLib did their version. And they are a whole company. I'm just a dude. I've been so obsessed with this track, I found a lot of interesting things about it that I wanted to showcase. First, I'll go over how to work with 3/4 samples. Then, we're going to talk about the arrangement of the track and how it swaps between sample patterns. And finally, we're going to talk about what the song is. It is pretty much a drill beat. I'm not a drill connoisseur, but now halfway through this video when I had to revisit the Hillbillies due to some copyright issues, something that I will go over in another video. When I revisited the track, I noticed that the hi-hat was a little bit different than what I'm used to. And after analyzing, I thought, isn't this just the drill hi-hat pattern? So I was right, it was. So I'll talk a little bit about drill at the end. Sampling 3/4 is actually not that common. I've done over 100 sample breakdowns in my channel, and I think I've come across 3/4 samples like 3 times. Now, if the sample is in 3/4 and the track is in 4/4, then the producer had to do something to adapt the time signature. There's many things you can do to adapt the 3/4 sample. First, if you're just gonna lift a whole loop section like this without many cuts and you wanna use it and you wanna sample that, all you need to do is make a beat that is in 3/4. The sample is in 3/4, your beat's gonna loop in 3/4, and then you can just do that. That's simple. Now, if you want to make a 4/4 beat like he did here, so you have a 6-beat count and you have to turn a 6-beat loop into a 8-beat loop. So what is missing? 2 beats. It then becomes, how do you get those 2 extra beats? He does it here, and you can see that throughout the sample, I have these yellow sections, and these yellow sections are just showing the repetition of the last 2 beats of a loop. So much so that I can remove all the first yellow ones and extend the loops. And you're gonna see that the yellow is just the loop before repeated. And that's what he's doing here. He has the 6-bar loop and he's making it 8-bar by repeating the last 2 beats of the chop. And of course that is happening throughout the whole track. As you can see, the whole track is filled with these yellow chops in between the regular chops. Now, before moving on to arrangement, I want to talk about other ways to adapt the track. If you're microchopping, it really doesn't matter if the sample you're using is in 3/4 because you're going to be cutting all over the place with microchops to fulfill the puzzle that fits the 4/4 metric. And you can see here that I can do something similar to microchops to fill this without repeating the sample. For example, I can be a bit more creative and grab chops from different sections to fill this one. So for example, I'm gonna grab this loop and just grab the first beat of it and get the second beat from another chop. And that's basically microchopping the end to create a 4/4 beat. So see, I filled the last 2 beats with something different, and I can do that throughout the whole track to make it a little bit more less repetition. But what he did here is fine. Often simplicity wins because you're just trying to create something that sounds good, not something super complex. But just to show that it can be done. Before we continue, I want to talk about the sponsor of the video, which is me and my Patreon and my BeatStar page. Just telling you guys to check out the Patreon. I'm going back to posting there. I have a lot of content to post there. A lot of templates like the template for this song and many other tracks that I do templates of. I'm trying to do way more than just doing the arrangement of the beat. I'm going in depth, doing the chords, the instruments, all the percussion and stuff like that. And it's something that is really helping me with the launch of my BeatStar page. I'm gonna try to post there at least 1 or twice a week. That's at least the short-term goal. And this is pretty much just a way of sharing my studies. I can guarantee that the foolproof way of improving at whatever you do is to analyze and break down what you love so you can understand it and then apply it to your own music. Now back to the video. So here's the main sample. The highlighted sections are the section that he sampled. And the structure of the beat is basically him going through the green section, then blue section, then pink section, always repeating the last 2 beats of a 6-bar loop. This is what he sampled. And like I mentioned, he always gonna go this, and then repeat the last 2, then go with this, repeat the last 2, until he goes throughout this whole green section. Then he does the same thing with the blue section, then the pink section. You can even see that if I bring what I did here to the sample, is exactly what he did. It matches up perfectly. One thing that I noticed breaking this down is that there is no really a consistent reason for what he did with the arrangements of when to play the sample. Like, for example, it's not that the pink is playing at the chorus or at the end of a verse. Like, as you can see here, it plays in the beginning and then the pink only appears towards the end of the song. It doesn't play in the middle. But one thing that I noticed is that he usually goes, after the blue section, there's always a drop.
Yeah, big protein. 100 hers outweigh and we gon'.
And these drops usually come in the middle of the loop because it's just really nice. Drops are always very good to bring more bounce to the track. But in the matter of the arrangement, after the blue sections, you see the white drops, or he finishes the blue section with the pink. So usually he's going green, blue, drop, and then green, blue, pink. But again, not really a rhyme or reason for why he's doing what he's doing. Probably something that he did after he got the vocals and talking to the artists about how they wanted the beat to go. Other than that, there's only one section that is worth mentioning, which is something that is always nice to do is stutter patterns. He grabs this beat right here and then repeats it 4 times to create a little bit of a bounce and to create some variation too.
Homies touch you move. Yeah, niggas know that I'm best dressed with.
But other than that, there's not much in the arrangement after you figure out that he's going all the green, then all the blue, and then all the pink. I mentioned the copyright issues before. What happened was my video got blocked after a couple of days of being posted right before Tracklib posted their version. I'm not mad or anything, I just forgot that Kendrick Lamar left TDE to create PG Lang, and their distributor is Sony, if I'm not mistaken. So they are not okay, at least were not okay with the breakdowns being done. I never had issues with any TDE releases of Kendrick Lamar on my breakdown, so I thought it was gonna be okay. Regardless if their new distributor was okay or not, somebody asked for my video to not be blocked anymore. After 2 or 3 days of Tracklib posting their version, my video got unblocked, which I'm thankful for. I'm thankful overall just to not have gotten a copyright strike, but when I wanted to repost this sample breakdown included on my bigger Kendrick Lamar analysis and evolution video, I realized that I was gonna have to do some adjustments to the sample breakdown so it wouldn't get blocked. Tracklib didn't get a copyright claim from the Hillbillies because they did the drums on top of the sample and then only at the end brought in the official version of Hillbillies. So I did the same thing when I remade the breakdown. And while remaking the breakdown, when doing the drums, was when I realized that this was drill. UK drill is generally more fast-paced compared to its Chicago counterpart. Drill beats are generally structured around a tricilo hi-hat pattern with snares landing on the 4th beat instead of the 3rd every 2 bars. Instrumentals also have sliding bass, hard-hitting kicks, and dark melodies. I don't know if you would consider Hillbillies a full drill beat, but it has 2 other elements that he mentioned, 2 out of the 3. It has the hi-hats, the snare. It doesn't have the sliding 808s, which I know are very common, but right here you have the regular trap drums with the kick on the 1 and the snare on the 3, and it would go something like this. What happens in drill beats is that the snare is not hitting on the 3rd anymore, it's hitting on the 4th. And you're also hitting in between to create a little bit more groove. The hi-hat pattern is something that I had to learn. I knew it by ear, but I had never actually done it. It's simply, instead of you hitting every 2 steps and having a bunch of triplets, you have a lot more space. Here, for example, you hit the hi-hat, has 2 spaces, hi-hat, 2 spaces, hi-hat, 1 space. So the spaces between the hi-hat usually go 2-2-1, 2-2-1, 2-2-1. And then you get the tricilo hi-hat pattern that I was talking about. And that's the Hillbillies. it has been a saga for me, and I'll go over it in another video or two. I want to talk about everything that happens, the copyright issues, and the future of the channel. And I also want to make a video already who wrote the script about how Kendrick pulls from all the genres and adds it to his own unique style of music making. Sorry, I've been inconsistent with the long form videos. I'm trying to figure it out what to do with the channel and trying to post my own music and be more consistent, trying to create some sort of structure to my life that has been kind of all over the place. But that's enough of that. See you guys next time.